Introduction. After the Second World War ended, nations felt the need for a peacekeeping international organization. In 1941, the American President Franklin Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill announced the Atlantic Agreement. The establishment of an international organization was an objective of the agreement. After much planning, in April 1945, at San Francisco, 51 countries approved the plan of the organization. Accordingly, on 24th October 1945, at New York, the United Nations Organization was founded. In this chapter, we will learn about the objectives, structure, and work of the United Nations. The objectives of the United Nations Organization. The resolution of the UNO includes 111 items. These items state clearly the objectives of the UNO, which include the following. 1. To establish international peace and security. 2. To solve the crisis among the nations by way of justice and international law and avoiding wars. 3. To create healthy atmosphere for world peace by avoiding discrimination and increasing friendly relations, cooperation and coordination. 4. To bring the different nations together to solve economic, social and cultural problems. To achieve the objectives, the UNO has a few restrictions on the member nations. All the nations will be considered as equal and same. Neither UNO nor the member nation will interfere in the internal issue of any nation. Every nation will follow the rules of UNO. The member nations will solve their crisis without weapons. The structure of the UNO. According to the Constitution of the UNO, it has 6 branches. Assembly,
Security Council,
Secretariat,
Economic and Social Organization Committee,
Trusteeship Council, and International Court. We will learn about each committee in detail. 1. Assembly. The Assembly is the Parliament of the UNO. Every member nation can send 5 representatives to the Assembly, but it has right of 1 vote only. The meeting of the Assembly is held at least once in a year. The Assembly could hold discussions about issues disturbing international peace, administration of the UNO, election of temporary and other representatives of the Defense Committee, etc. The Assembly only has right to suggest by majority. The final decision is left to the Security Council. Security Council. The Security Council or Defense Committee has 11 members, 5 permanent and remaining 6 elected by the Assembly for 2 years. America, England, France, Russia and China are the permanent members of the UNO. The Defense Committee takes every decision by majority, but to get the decision, the past votes of all 5 permanent members are required. If the decision is opposed by even a single permanent member, it is rejected. This is called veto or negative voting. The main tasks of the Defense Committee are to discuss any issue disturbing international peace, to punish the guilty and disobeying nations, to take action against the nations disturbing peace with the help of the arms of member nations, and to give permission for new membership. Secretariat. The UNO has its well-organized and active Secretariat. The Secretary is the head of this Secretariat. The Assembly appoints the Secretary for a 5-year term at the recommendation of the Security Council. Trygve Lie of Norway was appointed as the first Secretary of the UNO. The Secretary attends and takes part in discussions in all the meetings of the UNO. He arranges the meetings of the Assembly and places important issues before the Security Council for discussions. He also controls the administration of other departments and prepares the annual report of the UNO. The staffs in the departments of the Secretariat are selected from the citizens of the member nations. Economic and Social Committee. The Economic and Social Committee aims to achieve economic and social equality and educational and health-related progress. This committee includes 18 members elected by the Assembly. 1/3 of the members retire every 3 years and some are replaced. Each member is elected for 5 years. The tasks of the Economic and Social Committee are to study and prepare reports on the international economic, social, educational, health and cultural conditions of nations, to minimize unemployment, to give each individual fundamental rights and freedom, to achieve overall international development by arranging boards of study, conferences, seminars, etc. The subcommittees through which the committee performs its tasks include the World Health Organization, WHO, the Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. Trusteeship Council. After the Second World War, the 11 countries that were the responsibility of defeated nations came under the UNO. The UNO formed the Trusteeship Council to look after these 11 trust countries. The 5 permanent members of the Security Council and representatives of the trust countries are the members of the Trusteeship Council. International Court. The United Nations Organization has also established an international court of 15 judges from different nations to solve the problems among the nations. This court is at Hague in Holland and works according to the international laws. The tasks of the court are to give justice properly in crisis, to legally advise the different departments of the UNO, the political work of the UNO. The UNO attempted to solve many political and economic crises, such as the Berlin and Kashmir issues. It maintained nuclear power and arms restrictions. It tried to give voice to the suffering of the nations to which justice was denied. It tried to solve or restrict crises at the regional level. It handled many difficult situations with peace and avoided war. Economic, social and educational work. UNO committees studies and suggests remedies on problems that involve economic reformation, increasing population, food problems, regional problems, health and scientific research. The World Bank provides grants to help poor countries. The UNO has increased cooperation between nations through food control measures, disease control measures, international transport, international post, etc. It has made people aware of global problems through books, documentary, meetings, conferences, films, etc. It has implemented bans on drugs. It has given voice to the problems of women and children. It has worked for the ban on nuclear weapons. It has tried for cultural harmony. The International Red Cross Society, a part of UNO, takes care of injured soldiers in wars and provides emergency services in flood and droughts. It has also brought the nations together through games and sports. It has also initiated the translation of literature from one language to another to propagate literacy. Today, 192 countries are members of the UNO. The UNO aims at bringing all nations under one global government.